The Woodwalkers by Ryan Lowe.
One evening, Jason and Alex were out walking with Onyx, Jason's dog. They were walking along the woods. Then suddenly, Onyx took off running into the woods.
But Onyx was too fast. They lost him. They began calling for his name, and then Jason found a paw print in the mud, so they followed his tracks. After following the tracks for a while, they found his color, but they were too busy following his tracks. They passed up warning signs posted in the woods. Then Alex hears Onyx barking. They listen to where it is coming from. They see Onyx barking into a cave. Once they got Onyx, it is time to go home. Then they realize they were lost in the woods. They try to retrace their steps. They get even more lost. While walking in the woods, they felt like they were being watched. They found an old rundown cabin. It started to get darker. They walked up and knocked on the cabin door. No one answered. So Jason said, "Stand back." Jason savagely kicks down the door. They find some stale food and some beds. Alex sees an old fire pit outside of the kitchen window. They end up going outside and starting a fire. Later they get tired, so the boys go inside to go to bed. The boys wake up to Onyx growling. They hear footsteps downstairs in the living room. They peek downstairs. They see some really tall people, but they need to get out of the house, so they sneak out of the bedroom window. They see a path in the back of the house they didn't see before. Onyx kept growling. They had to stop and pick him up. They didn't want to get spotted by all the tall people. When they looked back, they saw tall people by the trees, so they hid in some bushes by the path. They were hoping the path would lead them out of the forest. Once they got Onyx chilled out, they took off running down the pathway. Once the boys thought they were in a clear from the tall people, they stopped for a break by some big rock. Jason starts to freak out about the tall people, wondering what they were because they're too tall to be normal people. Jason tells Alex, "We need to find something to protect us." Jason finds a big stick to sharpen it against the rock. Alex walked a little into the woods to look for a stick too. While looking for a stick, he hears something run past him. Alex yells for Jason to run. Something's out there. They continue to run. They don't see anything running after them. Jason thinks Alex was messing with him, but he wasn't. So, the boys kept running for a while. They kept running into the same big rock. They thought it was just another rock, so they kept walking. They see the same rock again. They realize they're going in circles. The boys decided they were going to walk in the woods to try to escape the tall people. They seemed like they were walking forever, and they were tired and cold. They made a campfire again, and they were going to wait until morning to continue. While sitting at the campfire, they hear something running in the woods. The boys freaked out, and Alex grabbed a stick that he just put in the fire so the end was on fire. He looked around, he didn't see anything, but a tall person comes running out of the nowhere, right after them. The tall man jumped back from the fire, like he was scared of light or the fire. The boys had to keep the campfire going. It was their protection against the tall people. The tall people were just lurking in the darkness, hoping the fire will go out. They were struggling to stay awake. They felt like it was never going to end. Onyx is already sleeping. He was old. They started to see sunlight come up. The boys were watching the tall man sinking into the trees, like they were a part of it. The boys were really scared and tired at this point. They knew they had to get out of the woods in the daytime because the tall people would be back in the nighttime. Once they are in the clear, they set off to find their way out of the woods. A short way, they find the cave that Onyx is barking into. so they know they are close to being out of the woods. They see the caution signs they missed coming in. The boys find their way out of the woods and started going home. 2 days later, Alex doesn't seem to remember a thing, and Onyx doesn't seem to be acting the same. The end.